All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to Tactical Ashigarami TV. Happy February. And first off, just as a disclaimer to YouTube and to whom it may concern, there is nothing real or dangerous in this video. Everything is an imitation, okay? We are currently clear. We have no BBs in the mag. We will be doing some insertions during the explanation portion of what I'm going to be talking about. But for the most part, everything is pretty much safe and there is nothing to worry about at all. All of these are clear. We want to limit the amount of racking that we do in the video, and we're just going to pretty much talk really freebase. So this is going to be a explanation video, okay? Just to kind of give you guys some information. I know a lot of you have had questions about the Sand Viper in particular as well, and maybe the Costa. So we're going to pretty much do a basic breakdown, overall pros and cons, performance, and pretty much talk about the data that I have on each of them since I have at least a year or so in terms of use on at least one specific platform, right? So first off, we got these dressed up really nice. I put lights on all of them for the video. So hope you guys enjoy that. We got some O lights and some TLR stuff and things like that. We have here, starting from the left, the R501 Army Armament Costa carry comp. This thing is a beast. Everybody loves it. Amazing design. You know, you got that original STI design. Really cool. Tree bark stippling. All that good jazz. These all have comps, by the way. Okay. And then we have the R604 Army Armament DVCp. These are both STI. This looks like a staccato, but it's not. As you can see there, I currently got it fitted with some nice kit, so it looks a little bit different than what it did in the unboxing video. We have the Holosun 507. I put it on this instead of having it on the Glock. I decided to mount it on the DVCp, as well as the TLR-HL. So that's a nice little package we got right there. And I'll be looking forward to running this in the summer. And towards the far right, I have the Army Armament 615D Sand Viper Terran Tactical. And this thing it's pretty nice, right? Awesome platform. I was able to shoot it for the majority of 2023, made some really good videos. Go ahead and check out the Army Armament Sand Viper. I believe there's a gameplay. Yeah, there's some gameplay reviews as well as other gameplays as well. So you'll see them under Sand Viper. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And yeah, man, it's really cool. It's good to have options, right? If there's one thing that I think Army Armament has over right now, maybe other brands similar to like Tokyo Marui and others, pretty much I would say other choices, right? And the aftermarket stuff. Well, basically, most of the designs that you're going to see from them are things that you would pretty much do in order to mod your airsoft sidearm, right? And without even having to go into prices and stuff like that, basically, a lot of what you would see is essentially what you're going to get right out of the box. So what we're going to do is we'll go down the line a little bit and we're going to talk about maybe like current upgrades and pretty much build, I would say kind of like a build log in terms of how they performed over time. So you guys can get a good understanding of what the performance is on each. And hopefully at the end of this video, you'll have, I would say more of a, not really a subjective understanding, but a comprehensive one in terms of how they're going to perform if you decide to go for any particular one that you do like, okay? So let's keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments section for sure. And don't forget to like this video, okay? So we'll start off with the R501, okay? The Army Armament Costa carry comp, okay? So this pretty much is a airsoft version of Chris Costa's actual STI Costa carry comp, which I believe is a very rare piece to find. Now you pretty much have to scour the internet to pretty much get a hold of one. And this particular build right here, this particular airsoft toy is also, you know, to its own right, a little bit rare to acquire too. You'll see it pop up from time to time from a lot of different third-party vendors. But if you want to know a solid source to get your hands on one of these, I would try Airsoft Tiger. I did mention some stuff about them in one of my other videos, right? But I can't post links. So once again, if you guys want access to that information, be sure to drop a comment and I will link my Patreon. Or if you guys know where the Patreon is, go ahead and check that out because there will be some content on there. So yeah, definitely, probably in my opinion, one of the best products from what I've experienced that Army Armament has come out with by far. The good thing about this is that you have a solid CNC metal build, right? Your hammer this is probably one of the best hammers I've ever seen on any type of Hi-Capa, because it is a Hi-Capa. And it's a very solid hammer, and it's a Tokyo Model Respect hammer. Pretty much every single part on this particular Army Armament is 100% Tokyo Model Respect, right? So if you need to replace slide stops, frames, grip assemblies, or inner barrels, or packings, or anything like that, you can swap out any of the parts that are Hi-Capa compatible, and you can pretty much put them inside of this particular one. So currently, right now, the only changes that I have on this from the stock version would be the addition of a there's a short stroke recoil spring, or a 150% one that's in there. Definitely a modified recoil spring. So there's a lot of tension on the spring in this particular frame. So that is definitely an addition, as well as a Lilacs chamber packing, right? And also an HK45 Lilacs power barrel, okay? So just so you guys know, if you guys are modding this particular one, the HK45 inner barrel literally fits flush right on there. So yeah, just definitely go with that one. That's fine. That works 100%, and that is perfect for use. So this one has definitely seen a lot of use. I've had it now for almost 2 years. So far, nothing on it has broken. Knock on wood. It performs really well. It performed in the rain a few years back when I ran it out in Nada. I forgot what the video was. It was one of the Feeling of Peach videos that I did a while back, and it runs like a boss. Magazine compatibility is also 100% compatible with, from what I know, a lot of different magazine types. In particular, Tokyo Model Hi-Capa magazine. So whether you have extended ones or regular ones, as you've seen in some of my other videos, you can run it in this without any problem. The magazine that it does come with is the stock Army Armament black magazines that you'll see with the staccatos as well, and the other STIs with the State of Texas with the star on it on the base plate. And those are 100% fine. So you'll see them in a lot of other different Army setups too as well, the ones that come from Army, and they are Hi-Capa compatible. And the beautiful thing is, this particular magazine is the same one that comes with the DVCp. So if you have both of these, basically, they're going to be coming with the same magazine. If you need to get an additional magazine, you can run that same said magazine in both, or you can run a Tokyo Model magazine, which works with pretty much all of their Hi-Capas. So whether it's the staccato, so it does work with the staccato, because the training video that we did some time back, one of the guys that I was filming with, he had a Army staccato. He might even be a viewer too. I think his name is Arata, something like that. Anyway, his Hi-Capa was also compatible with this magazine as well as Tokyo Marui magazine. So there's one thing about Army that makes them, I think, really cool is that that compatibility is still there. So yeah, this magazine is the same one that runs in this and this. So you get that compatibility. We'll do a little insertion. So of course it runs in that, also in the DVC. Boom. And believe it or not, also in the Sand Viper as well. Look at that big magwell. Boom. And you have 100% compatibility, okay, throughout any platform. So it's 100% gonna work in any single one. It's gonna feed. The only issue is that with their stock magazines that they do sell, right? The issue you have is the performance of the seal, in particular with the pressure valve here on the back. They're not initially very good, and because of this causes a lot of problems with gas efficiency and overall performance. So you'll find that with certain models, it doesn't work that well, and you're gonna have some problems. The funny thing is that when I first got the 501, I had no issues with the stock magazine, and I was able to just run my Hi-Capa magazines, and I had no issue, right? But when I started to order actual replacement magazines and extra magazines, that's when I started having these issues with the magazine seal. The quick recipe to solve that problem would be if you have a magazine valve key, you want to remove that entire valve. And if you have a Hi-Capa magazine that you're not using, you can switch the valve off of that magazine and put it in that one. I was able to do that with a few of the stock ones that I had. I took the stock magazine valves because I wasn't using them. On my other Tokyo Marui magazines, I have modified lilacs ones. So I have about 4 or 5 of the stock ones, and you can just swap them out into the Army armament, and that's going to solve that problem with the gas efficiency. So you'll find that those magazines will run in room temperature, or especially when it's hot, you won't have any issues in terms of your gas performance or your gas efficiency. Everything runs really smooth. So I can definitely show you that. Let's talk a bit of some more about this. Yeah, so lower frame design, tree bark stippling. I think this stippling is probably the best stippling you can get, period, right? The grip texture, just amazing. Probably the best out of all the ones that they offer in the lineup. So you can't really go wrong with that. This comes with a flared magwell as well. Really cool magwell. Very good for those fast reloads. And you have your blacked out rear and your red fiber front sight, which makes it ideal for target acquisition, quick target acquisition. And the tri-cut design as well. It's very iconic, real signature design, real cool. I like using this a lot. It's also a lot more rugged than it looks. It has some wear on it now because I've ran it for a couple of years, but believe it or not, it is a very solid setup. It's very, very solid. The trigger on it is very, very good. You get a very nice, solid response. So just to kind of go to trigger a bit. So literally, once I put my finger on it here, it's right there. And that's the break. Very smooth response. Do that again. Very smooth response. Look at this reset. Nice reset. Very smooth response. Okay. And this is the Army Armament R501. So go ahead and check that out. And then here we have the DVCp. So as of right now, I don't have a whole lot of rounds that I put through it pretty much at all. From right now, what I want to do is I want to wait until the summer to run it. And I'm going to explain to you why I decided to do that. So basically in the unboxing video, I showed you guys a lot of the basic fundamentals of the build, right? In terms of just overall quality and design and pretty much how it looks from an overall basic standpoint. It's very similar to the Staccato. If you don't know anything about the Staccato, and if I were to put the Staccato and this side by side, it'll be hard for you to tell the difference between both, right? This is not a Staccato. STI is pretty much like the predecessor of Staccato. So all the guns look pretty much the same, even though they're not, right? So pros, I would say, are the similar things that I mentioned with the R501. Overall grip presentation, flared magwell, very nice slide serrations. You have them on the front here. You have the ports. These are kind of like ports or something like that in the front. Then you have your serrations in the back, but you can still do your press checks with this. So it's not, it doesn't make a difference. They're still grippable. Compensator, everything is pretty much set up really nice. At the moment, we have the Holosun on there, and we have the TLR. And when it comes to mag compatibility, once again, you guys saw, you're running the same magazine. TM magazines work. Army magazines work. If you need to get the valves in them, get the valves in them. That's going to solve your gas issues, right? Even this magazine as well, which I should have mentioned before. This runs in the both of these, right? You get a little bit of space there, right? But that's still fine. Not a big deal. Also fits in the DVCp. Boom, right? So just so you know, all of these magazines that I'm talking about, they're all cross-compatible. That's one of the beautiful features about this, is that if you are a Tokyo Marui Hi-Capa owner, most of the other magazine types or Hi-Capa types, the majority of them are Tokyo Marui clones. So if you have a Tokyo Marui spec Hi-Capa or extra Hi-Capas with parts and magazines, you're already ahead of the game. So if you decide to jump on this platform, you can pretty much run whatever you want, no problem. You won't have to worry about running out of parts or running out of magazines, okay? Now, there's only one thing I want to bring up, right? And this is the reason why I'm not that crazy about using this right now in a game or in a training video. And that's the skeletonized hammer that we have here, right? We don't want to put too much wear on this hammer, but I am going to get it up. All right, so this is the hammer, right, that we have here. If you guys saw one of my last videos, or maybe I didn't post it, I did break the hammer on my Sand Viper, or it actually cracked during a game, but then it broke during a shooting session. The quality of the hammer on the DVCp in comparison to the 501 is very, very different. The 501 has a thicker angled hammer, even though you can say it's pretty much skeletonized. This one, if you can get a close-up on that, is definitely a lot thicker than the skeletonized version, which is a lot thinner. Now, one of the videos that I watched some time ago, I literally saw somebody break the hammer during the video. So I know for a fact that at some point in time, I am going to break this hammer and I will have to replace it with something a little bit stronger, like a Marui spec hammer or Armor Works or EMG. And there is a video with someone doing that with the Sand Viper because they had the same issue. Reason being, I can account it to the weight that is already added on the slide with the addition of the optic. So similar to the situation with the Sand Viper, and that's probably one of the main, factors in what caused that, was the weight definitely has, I would say, it plays a big factor in terms of how and when that's going to happen, right? And the amount of wear that you put on the system. When I find that the gas that I have in my setup, if it's really, really warm, and if my slide is reciprocating really fast, then there's so many variables that can take place, but that does tend to happen. This is probably with the hammer situation that's now happened to me 3 times. So the first time was my USP. Second time, I would say my 1911, my Covert Ops Nighthawk, which currently now has a damage hammer. Same cracked hammer as the one I'm going to show you with the Sand Viper, right? And the Sand Viper itself, which is right to the right of you right here. So as you can see, this is definitely a cause for concern. So the only thing I would say about this, from what I can tell right now, that I would warn you on is the hammer itself. As far as getting actual shooting data in terms of performance and things like that, which is kind of more what I would care about, because I don't just go off of what people show or what they say on the internet, especially YouTube, unless I get it in front of myself or if I trust the source. And, you know, from my standpoint, I keep things very real on this platform. I don't, you know, try to glamorize information. I like to present it and, you know, allow people to come up with, you know, their own conclusions based on the evidence that I put in front of them. So as of right now, this looks really good, right? We have it set up for what it needs to do, what it needs to perform. So we'll be running this maybe in some outdoor stuff, depending on the weather. If it's when it gets warmer, for sure, we'll do that. Right now, we're still very cold in Japan, so we're going to be using a lot of CO2. And then when it gets warmer, like maybe in July, we'll do the duster gas. So this will be a duster gas setup, and it will replace my Sand Viper for the 2024 season as of right now. So currently, we have the TLR on there, the TLR1, Holliston 507, and we have all of the trades, as you can see, that were on there from the unboxing video, the American flag. It looks like a staccato, but it's not. But it is a very cool looking piece, right? And it looks really cool when you have the magazine in there. It looks awesome. Very cool. So we're going to get some more shooting data on this. We'll do a gameplay video, and we'll do maybe another tip to butt in about a year, so you guys can see the difference in how it's going to look after a year of use or so compared to how it looks right now. Because, you know, over time, you know, once you start to use things and wear start to develop, you see how things do, you know, paint wise, what happens to the paint, what happens to the parts, the internals, everything like that. You're going to be able to see it. Right now, everything looks good because it's basically new. It's still 100% pretty much a new setup. So we're going to get into this a little bit more, right? And then we have the MVP, and the one that a lot of people always have a lot of questions about, and I'm very sorry about what I did to the hammer. It wasn't intentional, okay? We have the Army Armament R615D, okay? Still very cool, still very relevant. I think Army has put out at least one other variant of this with probably a slightly different shade. The beautiful thing about this is that even though I've had it now for just over a year, the majority of the paint is still on it, and it doesn't show a lot of wear, right? You can see a little bit of it, but as far as like substantial wear and pretty much proof of use, everything for the most part still looks really good. And this is probably seen, well, it's definitely seen over 1,000 rounds by now. But as you saw in a lot of the videos that I put out, it performs really, really well, okay? The compensator still looks really good, right? As you can see, got a little bit of wear on the front. It's not that noticeable. And I still have the SRO Chirurgicon red dot on there, right? So still 100%, still good to go. Once again, cool thing about Army products, you know, Tokyo Model Respect parts do run the magazines as well. As you can see, this one pretty much ran in pretty much all the other ones that have on the table right now, okay? But there are a couple of things I'm going to get into. Now, the loading nozzle on this Hi-Capa has broken twice in 2023, right? The first time it broke was maybe somewhere earlier in the summer, I think. I think so. I'm trying to remember. Somewhere early in the summer. And then it broke again in the fall, right? Which is a little bit weird, but we're going to talk about some of the things that might have contributed to that, right? So, once again, putting red dots on your airsoft toys will definitely affect performance and how the slide reciprocates. I can only imagine, what the situation would be with the green gas. We don't run green gas, we run duster. So, there is also that situation too as well, where, if you heat stuff up, you put it in, what happens, right? So there's a spring on that pretty much attaches. I won't say attaches, but it literally latches onto the side of the loading nozzle. I might have showed a video of the loading nozzle on YouTube some time ago. Now the problem is that little nub on the loading nozzle, for those of you guys who know what the loading nozzle is, that does break. And there's an accumulation of damage every single time whenever the slide reciprocates to the rear, right? Every single time that happens and the slide moves back. Look at all the weight of this, right? This is full CNC metal, right? The issue is that the weight of the slide plus the optic is now slamming and making contact with that little area on a loading nozzle here. There's a new one in here now. So as you can see, when I pull this back, it retracts like it's supposed to. You'll know it's broken because the loading nozzle will be stuck forward like this. And it'll just flap around when it's not, operational. And it will feed to an extent where you will have misfeeds and you can probably damage your internals by using it if it's broken. So you have to replace it, and it costs about maybe $3 or something. Forgot. It's not that expensive. But the bottom line is it will break, if you have the optic mounted on it, and you will have to source one from Army Armament or from a third-party retailer that does have that particular piece. So that happened to me a couple of times and I had to do it. So I am very careful going forward of how I use this, when I use this, who I loan it to, if that's the situation. And if you are running it, that's something you want to think about too, because I can guarantee you that, if you're running a red dot, if it hasn't happened to you, it will happen to you. So you remember this video, if you're watching this, you remember that Tactical Lashigarami TV said, hey, it's going to break. It happened to me twice, and it will happen to anybody who runs this particular setup with a dot. Now, the hammer, yes, right? This is the same type of hammer that is on the DVCp, as you can see here. It's almost pretty much identical. Well, not now because obviously it's broken, but this one is, it's cracked, right? The thing is, as it is right now, the whole entire setup still runs, but, with, little metal and stuff like that hanging out, especially if you're wearing iPro, whether you're wearing iPro or not, it's still very dangerous because, once this goes forward and it's reciprocating really fast, this can break off. It can go somewhere you don't want it to go. And there's always that potential situation of something happening. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm going to actually park this right now. I did see a video where somebody replaced this hammer with the EMG hammer or some other type of hammer because they had a situation where the hammer did break. So what I'm currently going to do right now is I am going to source a compatible hammer for this system. Once that hammer is sourced, I intend to get it repaired. This is, you know, when it comes to 1911, 2011 frame repair, I'm going to admit, I'm not the guy that does that kind of repair. I know a lot of guys that are amazing at it, but for me, it's not really my thing. So, yeah, that's going to be get fixed, right? Other than that, I mean, I like this platform a lot. I think that this overall setup is amazing. I love the grip texture. I like the features. The magwell is huge, so you can reload really fast, as you guys saw with a lot of videos, even with the training series videos. The reloads, everything was just really, really smooth, super smooth. And you have that, look at this, super huge mag button. So you can't miss that. Literally, like the mag literally falls in. And once you touch this button, it's out. It's like, it's so smooth, like I can't even explain it to you. You would have to have it in your hands. And look at that action. Very smooth action. Yeah, okay. So 100% definitely something that, you know, you want to look into. And I think, yeah, if you're looking into, you know, what type of armament setup you like, I would definitely recommend any one of these. But like I wouldn't 100% vouch that you wouldn't have damage issues with the Sand Viper internally just from use. If my only recommendation would be, if you absolutely want to own the Sand Viper, right? Especially if you're in a foreign country. So that's something to think about too. If you're far away from Asia, sourcing the loading nozzles, I don't know what that situation is going to be like for you in terms of sourcing them, but you definitely need to have at least 4 or 5 loading nozzles on standby for this. This one, I haven't had any issues with the loading nozzle in terms of reciprocation, weight. This one hasn't broken. Will it break? I don't know, but it hasn't. This one has broken. So if you like Tyrant Tactical, you like John Wick, all that good jazz, go for it, right? Or honestly, if you don't really care for the red dot and you use iron sights, go for the Pit Viper. Army makes a good Pit Viper too. I believe it's the same system. So basically it's the same thing, same setup. I would go for that. And as far as the DVCp is concerned, this is going to, you know, it'll get its chance to prove itself as we put it through its paces in the latter portion of the year. You know, more than likely with some outdoor play, some indoor play too as well. Okay, that's another thing too. These setups also have compensators, guys. Really cool compensators. Okay, now some of the differences. The compensator on the Sand Viper, right, does have that 14mm thread. I forgot whether it's positive or negative. I never remember whether they're positive or negative. I just use them. So tracers are fine with this for the majority of your airsoft parts. Well, not 14mm. I think it's an 11 or 10. But basically, the adapter that changes it. Actually, it is a 14. Yeah. But the bottom line is the adapter that comes with a majority of tracers that you will use will fit in this thread, no problem. Yeah. Right in this female thread here. So if you have, you know, an 11 to 14 or a 14 to 11, whatever the case is, this is going to be a good pick. For the Pit Viper, I'm not sure. I think it's the same. I might be wrong, so you'll have to check that out. But however, for the thread on the DVCp and the Costa, those threads that you would need, these are different threads. They both have female threads, but the threads you would use are a little bit different. I don't know exactly what the measurements are, but they are not the 14, that's for sure. So definitely take that into consideration. If you guys have any questions, if you want to see an in-depth video in terms of internals and things like that, okay, shoot your comment in the comment section. And if you want, I will make a video going in depth with all the internals and all the upgrades on Patreon, right? I can't do it on YouTube anymore, guys, because of the policies, okay? And I can't violate them. So be sure to check that out, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. So currently, this is going to be the summer setup for the 2024 season. I can't wait. The R604 STI DVCp. Here we got the Sand Viper, Terran Tactical, and we have the Costa Carry Comp, all Army armament. And these have been the Hi-Capas that I've been running over the last couple of years. I used to run a lot of Tokyo Marui Hi-Capas, almost predominantly, but the thing about Tokyo Marui is that their standard Hi-Capas that come out the box, they perform very well. They're probably the probably the best overall pistol you can get for airsoft. Baseline products are very smooth. Functionality, perfect. But they're very boring, right? And usually what a lot of people do is they have to get a lot of aftermarket stuff done to those Hi-Capas. Magwells, as you can see. Slide work, optics plates, framework, grip, all that stuff. So with Army armament, cool thing is you're getting that all out of the box. The only thing is that even though you're dealing with Tokyo Marui spec products, you have to take into consideration what the internals are like for each. So that's probably one of the big differentiations between brands. So everything is not always going to be the same. You know, sometimes you go through your paces and you select a different brand just to see what the consistencies are in terms of performance and quality. And sometimes you get disappointed. I get a lot of disappointments a lot of the times, even from good brands, because you'll have a brand that's really good and they'll make a product that's not so good, or every once in a while you get something that's a defect. And then you'll have companies that don't really have that good of a reputation, and they may have that one style of product that's really good that nobody knows about. So experimentation is important, and also keeping your ears close to different types of information out there. Yeah, definitely important for sure. So current mission, fix this hammer, replace it, and then run this in the summer, and look out for some gameplay reviews and some more details on the DVCp. The Costa is the MVP. You will see it again in some other videos too as well as the Sand Viper. So guys, once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully I didn't bore you. You know, it's a very technical video. Definitely not an airsoft video for a beginner if you don't understand what I'm talking about. And this is more for the, the hardcore guys, that do watch my channel. And I'm so grateful for you guys for keeping me afloat, for watching my content. Even though a lot of the times, YouTube has, been what it's been. But I appreciate you for consistently, I wouldn't say promoting, but, supporting Tactical Ashigarami TV, in 2023 and 2024 so far. So once again, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, okay? So that way you guys can get notified every single time I drop a video. You guys won't miss it. We have a lot more gameplays that are going to be coming. Some stuff that I had shot that you guys need to see. It's been a minute, so hopefully I can get that out to you in a reasonable amount of time, and it'll be fun. So I appreciate you so much, right? Stay healthy, stay strong. See you in 2024. Stay blessed. Peace.